This program on investing under regulation crowdfunding is not investment advice.
Rising with the crowd, power unbound, change makers lead where hope is found. Superpowers for good, shaping the fate. Investors and dreamers open the gate. Supercross stands loud, proud and true, building tomorrow for me and you.
Have you ever wondered what Rotary International is? You know, I'm a member of Rotary and I love Rotary, and I'm excited to introduce you today to the Rotary International president so you can learn more. But welcome to the Super Crowd Presents Superpowers for Good. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe, and I am honored to have as my guest today Rotary International President Francesco Arezzo. President Francesco, thank you so much for joining me today. It's just an honor to have you.
It is a great pleasure for me to be here and also an honor. Yes, thank you for the invitation.
Thank you so much. You have had an unusual path to becoming the president, because normally that selection is made many years in advance and planned, organized. You had 2 weeks. What happened? How did that come about?
Yes, you are right. Usually the president has about 2 years to plan and to realize his plan and to think what to do. I had, as you said, only 2 weeks. So I was a bit worried when I arrived in Calgary to begin my year as president. It happened that the former president resigned just on the 8th of June. And so the board had only 20 days to find a new president. They were very clever. They worked very, very hard. And just in 10 days, they were able to appoint a new president. Me. And and so I was obliged. I was appointed on Saturday evening, and on Tuesday morning, very early in the morning, I was on a plane to fly to Calgary to begin this new adventure. So everything was so quick, so fast that I didn't have any time to realize what was happening in those days.
Wow. You know, it's a whirlwind, and the experience you're having is truly extraordinary and different from really any Rotary International president in history because of that short lead up. You have been a member of Rotary for 36 years. Could you tell us what it is that you love about Rotary? What has drawn you into Rotary and kept you there active in the organization for so long?
But I was invited to join the Rotary of my city immediately when I came back, because I went out of my city at the end of the high school for the university. I went to study for university in another city, more than 1,000 kilometers away from my home. And when I came back after about roughly 15 years, because I spent also some time to work in other cities, when I came back, I was invited to join the Rotary Club, because all of them were friends of my father. My father died when I was very young, and they said we didn't have time to invite your father, that was a so good friend of us, but we want to invite the son of our friend. I really didn't know nothing about Rotary when I was involved. And for the first year, I was an attendee. I was not a Rotarian. But when I began to work in the project, when I began to be involved I can say every day in the projects, in planning, in new things, then I understood what Rotary is. Rotary is not to have a meeting to attend every 1 or 2 weeks. Rotary is something that involves all your life. You understand a lot of things. You discover words that you didn't know. I discovered that in my city there were a lot of people that in the evening go to the patronage to find a hot meal. And so when I was involved in a project of my club in preparing about 100, 120 hot meals on Wednesday night, on Wednesday evening, for people in needs, I understood that in my city there was also poverty. I didn't see it before. I, it was a new way to see my city, to see the life. I understood that I was a very lucky man to be born in a not rich, but in a well-being family, and to have the opportunity to study, to become a doctor, to become a dentist, and to have the opportunity to earn not a lot of money, but what is enough to live in a very comfortable way. And I discovered that I had to share my luck with the others. Then I understood what Rotary is, and then from that moment, I began to discover that you can do a lot for the others, not only in your community, but through Rotary in all over the world. You can do something to do the world a better place where to live.
That is an inspiring story, and I appreciate you sharing that history and that sort of conversion between being an attendee and becoming a real Rotarian is very illustrative. Thank you for sharing that. President Francesco, as you serve now at the head of this global organization with 45,000 clubs, 1.2 million members, what do you see as the things that Rotary is doing today that most inspire you?
What is doing Rotary? Rotary does a lot of things. Rotary, I continue to be convinced that the most important thing that we are doing is the eradication of polio from the world. And that is something that we began about 35 years ago. And we were alone at that time. And then slowly other organizations began to join us. The World Health Organization, Gavi, the UNICEF, and in the last years also the Bill Gates Foundation, and that now is one of our most important partners. And this is so important. We had about more than 300,000 cases every year in the world, and now we have only about 35 in this moment between Pakistan and Afghanistan. And we have spent, yes, we have spent $3 billion for this campaign, but now we have more than 2 or 3 million people, probably more, that that are still alive, and they are not paralyzed by polio. And that for us is a great result, and is so rewarding to know that because of us, a lot of people are healthy in this moment and free from polio.
It is truly inspiring, and it is a tremendous work that you lead at Rotary. Now, during your tenure as president, uh, you will spend very little time in your home in Italy, and you will spend the time traveling the world. Tell us a little bit about what your year as Rotary International President will be like.
The life of the president is a very strange life. The more severe problem is that I have, in 1 year, I will have about 1 month as a total to spend with my grandchildren. Grandchildren in this moment are the most important thing in my life. So to have so few time to spend with them, it is a problem. But and then I travel. I My job is to meet the Rotarians, to hear from them what are their problems, what are their dreams, because my job, the job of all the senior leaders in Rotary, is to permit, to allow them to realize their dreams. And is a life very, very busy. My schedule is so busy, and I don't have any time to reflect and to think. The only time when I can reflect, when I can think to my problems or to the problems of Rotary, is when I am on a plane, and I am very often on an airplane. And for example, now tomorrow I go to Korea. I have a flight of 14 hours. I will have time enough to reflect on the next days, and to think what to do, and what is the best solution.
That is a, a crazy year for
Yes.
any human to imagine. You mentioned that you might spend less than a month of an entire year in your home this year, and that is an amazing sacrifice that you're making. And I personally want to thank you, as the world should, for the service you'll render this year. President Francesco, we've got to take a short break. Forgive me. But folks, I'm here today with the Rotary International president. And I've often said that impact crowdfunding is simply investing in the Rotary way. And certainly, I'm proud to be a Rotarian and to participate in Rotary, and want to encourage you to check it out. I'm going to take a short break now, but when we come back, we'll talk to President Arezzo about his superpower. Stick around.
Download a free copy of How to Make Money with Impact Crowdfunding. The book Sarah Hanks describes as
a fantastic overview, not just of crowdfunding investing, but of investing in general.
Andrew Savickas raved,
"This book offers unparalleled insights for anyone looking to make a difference."
Scan the QR code to get your copy.
At Super Green Live, climate capital meets innovation. Join investors and entrepreneurs building real solutions for a sustainable future. From live pitches to expert insights, discover how impact capital powers climate action.
We're looking at a future powered by innovation, a world where technology and sustainability converge for the greater good.
Be part of the movement. Register now at supergreenlive.org. Struggling?
Welcome back. I'm so excited today here on the Superpowers for Good show. We've got President Francesco Arezzo, the Rotary International president. He leads an organization of 1.2 million members, 45,000 clubs, we've all seen the little Rotary signs outside almost every city in the world. If you visited a city, you see the little Rotary sign, it seems. Well, this is your opportunity to learn about what Rotary does today. So we're going to shift gears to talk to President Arezzo a little bit about his superpower. So stick around. President Francesco, we are so thrilled that you're here today. You are an accomplished professional as an orthodontist, recognized internationally for your work there. You're participating in dental organizations around the world, as well as in Rotary. You're kind of what we might call in America a big deal. And we're thrilled that you are here with us today. What is your superpower?
Well, I begin to explain my superpower. I begin with a citation by a great ancient philosopher, Socrates. Socrates said that I am a wise man, I am a philosopher, because I know that I don't know anything. And so I think that my superpower is that I know that I don't have any superpower. And because I don't have any superpower, I have to listen very carefully to the others. I have to listen very carefully to each Rotarian, to each person, because I think that he has a part of the truth. I am not the holder of all the truth. I just have a very small part of truth. And I have to listen for the others. They are reasons and they are part of truth. And so, if you want to speak about superpower, this convincement that I don't have any force me to listen very carefully to the reasons of the others.
I think that's beautiful and really genuinely powerful. I think about what you're saying, and the older I get, the more birthdays I have, the more I appreciate how little I know and how much I can learn from others and from everyone. And so that resonates with me really quite deeply. And so I'm grateful that you would share that. As you think about your superpower of listening and recognizing our own limitations, I wonder if you could think of a specific story, a specific example of a time when you recognized your limitations and listened and heard and implemented something, and you had a good outcome perhaps that you could share. Can you think of a story when that might have happened that would help illustrate your superpower?
It is difficult to choose one particular story, but it happens very often. When you are the president of an organization, and I had the venture to be not president but vice president of other organization, and the delegate of the Italian fund for the ancient heritage, for cultural heritage in Ragusa. And very often I had a lot of difficult decision to take. And very often I had a temptation to to do very quickly, because the situation was very clear, and it was very clear what to do. For example, to refuse one cooperation with another organization, because we were a very bigger organization, much more important, and we didn't need the cooperation with that organization. So it was a meeting to organize in Ragusa about our heritage, and I was convinced that to do alone was the best solution. But I decided to postpone the decision after a meeting with another person. And he explained to me that mine was a wrong decision, because yes, we were much more important, much bigger than the other organization, but they were very found about that problem, and their expertise was probably very important to solve many problems. And that was the right decision, was to accept the cooperation. After a few months, I realized that alone it was impossible to achieve what we did, because the help of them, they were just a few people, but so committed and so well informed about the problem, that it was impossible to organize such a meeting in so a few time without them. So if you think to be that you don't need the help of the others, very often you cannot solve the problem.
Yeah, that is a great story. That's a great example, and it demonstrates your humility and your wisdom. I just love that. Thank you for sharing that really important story. As you think about your role now as Rotary International President, one of the things that you will be doing is working to inspire people all around the world, Rotarians and non-Rotarians. You will speak this year to millions of people. What would be a tip that you would offer someone to embrace their own lack of superpower? How would you convince someone to welcome that recognition and embrace it like you do?
This is really a difficult question, but I recommend always to be very sincere. You have always to speak with people, and it is like in my job. In my job, you cannot recommend what is not useful for the patient. Sometimes you have to, I have to advise the patient not to have any treatment, because any treatment is uncertain, and probably we cannot achieve surely a best solution, a best result that the patient already has, because it is not, you cannot work for yourself, but always for the good of the patient. You have always to advise what is the best solution for him, and sometimes the best solution have to avoid any treatment. And so it is the same in Rotary. You have to advise that not always the best solution is what is right for you. Sometimes the best solution is against your interest. and you have to be honest to admit that sometimes you have to work against your interest,
Yeah,
and that is so important.
that is an important message to end on. President Francesco, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. I want to invite everyone to learn more about Rotary. Visit rotary.org to learn more. There's a club finder there, and you can find a club near you. Go visit, see what it's like. But I encourage you all to check it out. Again, President Francesco, thank you so much for being with us today. We wish you every success in your tenure as Rotary International President.
Thank you for giving me this great opportunity to reach so many Rotarians. Thank you.
All righty.
Thank
All
you.
righty now. Let's do some good.